Hello there. Welcome to Midnight Movie Talk on this Monday night. Was not expecting to do this. I was really just going to come home after watching The Banshees of Inisherin over at the Disney lot on my bike. I said, I'm just going to enjoy the movie and come home and just chill, have a drink, and go to bed. But I can't. I have to get some things off my chest here on this Monday night as we're going to talk about the state of the awards race. As we are entering prime time October, November, and into December, we are here. I mean, we are talking about these films that are going to end up being the Oscar films that we discuss for the next 5 months. So let's do that. Let's pull up my website, awardsace.com, the number one Oscars HQ in the entire universe, as you can see at the top of the screen. Here's the issue I have tonight. It's very simple. I came out of Banshees of Inisherin, and I was expecting to be as in love with the film as those who had a chance to see it at the film festivals were, because we all know that when people go to film festivals, they can't stop themselves from overpraising films, right? They go to a film festival, they're all excited. Oh my God, I'm at a film festival, and there's the star, and there's the director, so it must be good. Lesson number one, pro tip number one for those of you who ever attend a film festival: do not fall into that trap. You're still watching a film and you're still evaluating the film, whether it works or it doesn't work, whether the star's there, the director's there, whether it's the first screening or the 500 screening of the film at your local multiplex after it opens wide, okay? We have people in this industry that can't stop themselves from overpraising films. And tonight we have another one of these films, and it is The Banshees of Inisherin. This is, for my money, when you look at Mark McDonagh and you go back and you go to Three Billboards, and now you have Banshees, we might be discussing the most overrated writer-director working in Hollywood today. I mean, if you look at Three Billboards, okay, let's just start with that, and then we'll get to Banshees. Three Billboards. When people tell me that they believe that was based on a true story, I can't stop but literally guffawing out loud. What you thought it? How did you think that a movie that has so many inconsistencies with the character motivations and so many things that are completely implausible, you're going to tell me that you thought that was based on a true story? If anything, the whole thing rang false. All of it. I can't even believe it was an awards film. It's not a good film. Three Billboards is one of the most overrated awards films, I would venture to say, ever. I mean, the fact that people are talking about that as best picture, get out of here. Just leave. Okay. Then tonight, I say, okay, let's forget Three Billboards and let's sit down and let's enjoy this movie that's getting praised out of the film festivals, Banshees of Inisherin, with, of course, our good friend Colin Farrell. And I think that when you look at this film, you're talking about the number one thing is Colin Farrell. Now, it is really Gleason and Farrell, right? So you have two, but for me, I would put he's the lead. Here's the problem. I can't even really entertain that because of what we have happening in the script again. We have another thing. The film is off to a really nice start. Everything's looking good. I'm like, this is going to work. I love this bittersweet bromance gone bad film. And then McDonagh goes, we're going to make one of the characters do something that'll have your eyes rolling around in your head. And then not just stop there, continue to do things that make you go, oh my God, what am I watching? I almost got up and got on my bike and left the Disney lot. That's how annoyed I was with Banshees of Inisherin. But this is what we're going to do, because this is what we do on MMT. We talk about these things like a film, and we're going to broaden the scope and talk about the bigger issue. And it is what I led off here with. People go to these film festivals and they can't stop themselves from overpraising a film. And it makes me wonder, and I've said this before, and I don't care if you guys think it's mean, if you think it's incorrect, call me the Simon Cowell of film critics or film evaluators. Just because you call yourself a film evaluator does not mean you know what the hell you're talking about. How many people come on American Idol and are bad, right? They're like, I'm going to be a big singer. And then they sing and you're like, wow, And then, in the old days, we'll go old days, American Idol. Paula Abdul be like, "Oh, you're fantastic. You're really good." And then Randy would say, "Oh, yeah, dog, you're really good." And then Simon, and fine, I'll be Simon. I have no problem with that. Says what we're all thinking. There's no chance in hell that you are ever going to be a singer. And frankly, I can't believe you even made the trip to Hollywood to do this. I hate to say it, okay, guys? Just because you call yourself a film evaluator or a film critic does not mean you are one, okay? That's first. Second of all, it takes a very long time to be good at it. And hit me in the comments. You guys are going to be like, hey, guess what? Erick, why do you think you are? Like, well, it's called a track record. It's called a track record of doing this for 10 plus years and being on the correct side of history very often. And I know there's some of you out there who are with me on this, on 3 Billboards and Wait Till You See Banshees, being hellaciously overrated. And this is why I have to do these kind of streams, because it makes you want to tear your hair out when you watch a film after hearing what you hear. And this is why I don't listen to this shit, because you see it and you go, what are we doing here? And they're wrong. They're wrong. Banshees is not a good film. Okay. So we need to discuss what are the motivations of some people in this field. Like, are you saying things because you want to get access? Are you saying things because you want people to like you? Are you saying things because you think it's the right thing to say? Because none of those are good things for film evaluation. Not one of those, okay? Now, I do understand this, and trust me, I go through it even today here in Los Angeles. When you savage a film, the studio doesn't like that. But if they are reasonable, they will know that, in my case, that there's a likelihood that the next film from the same studio, I might turn around and say is the best film of the year. I go back to a Netflix, absolutely trashing The Gray Man, but loved Don't Look Up. So that's how it goes. One love, one hate. One love, one hate, one mix, one hate. You're not going to get all love or all hate unless everything's bad or everything's great. But the chances are not great that everything is going to be great. Okay. So you need to not worry about that so much. And you need to really just be truthful, be accurate, be honest, be fearless, and don't worry about what others think. If I sat here and did the show or sent tweets and go, oh, people are going to drag you over that take, well, what are you doing here? Like, why? Who cares? I mean, first of all, like I give a shit. First, come on, guys, please. But second of all, so what? I know I'm right. I know I at least have very valid points, and I know that have seen so many films, thousands and thousands of films, you start to go, this is good, this is bad, this is in between, this, you can identify the things that work. So it just is one of those things that you have to be able to remain neutral, ultimately. Neutral, okay? So please, in the comments here, help me. Chris Gore, I asked Gore to come on and actually talk. We're going to talk about Amsterdam in a moment. But yes, Sam Rockwell is the best part of 3 Billboards. No question about it. Zero question about it. Where's Maverick in all this for Best Picture? It's way up there. I mean, Top Gun Maverick right now, if you're asking me to list my top 10 award films of this year, and yes, Maverick is one, it's number one. You know what's number two for me? Tar. Tar is right there. Tar is so good. Of all the awards films that I've seen this year thus far, and I've seen a lot of them now, I'm getting to really cross them off that list. Tar is by far the best of the awards films that I have seen overall as a complete picture. I can slot that in picture, director, screenplay, obviously actress, and I think you can go further than that. You can go cinematography. You can go production design if you wanted to. But, you're talking about the big categories right there for Tar. And this is a great film. The rest of these films are not great, okay? Not great films. Let me list the films that aren't great that people are talking about. And some of these aren't out yet. Okay, first of all, number one not great film is Banshees of Inisherin. I mean, no chance. It is not a great film. There are some good performances, but the screenplay and what happens with what happens with Gleason's character and what he does to get rid of Colin Farrell, I can't, there's no spoilers. It is so bad. It's such a ridiculous choice, and it almost made me leave the theater, okay? Then we are talking about Empire of Light, which is a very well made film by Sam Mendes, but the screenplay is not great. It does not work. It's trying to do too much, but it has a lot of good elements outside of screenplay. But obviously, screenplay is very important when you talk about Best Picture. That's another disappointment. Armageddon Time, flat. A worse version of Belfast. Belfast is a much better film than Armageddon Time, and they share the same, they're kindred spirits. I mean, wait till you see Armageddon Time, but honestly, I don't really think you even need to see it. And then you go back to Triangle of Sadness. I saw yesterday another film that has the highs and the lows, and overall, once you just maddening film. You want it to do this and that, and unfortunately, you just don't get what you want. And I think that that's the problem so far this award season. It's very much of a disappointment award season than, oh my God, these are all great films. Like you go back to 2019, right? We had Parasite. We had was Irishman that year? Okay, go back to that year, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You have all these, that year was stacked, right? 1917. You had all of these really strong films, or at least very good films. And then you ended up with Parasite as the winner. This year, right now, it's Top Gun Maverick, it's Tar, and then beyond that, I'm having a hard time really elevating something to that level, way up there. At that, 9.5, 10 level for me. 10's almost impossible. Okay. 10's a perfect film. So you're really going to get a 10 out of me. So when you get to 9.5, you're way up there. Okay. Way up there. What's worse, film festival overreactions or premiere night overreactions? Fitness with Julian, they're almost the same thing. They are the same exact deal. You get someone who was into the first screening of something, and because of that, there's this electricity in the air. But it's weird. I've been to plenty of first night screenings. I go back to A Nightmare Alley, which I loved. But I didn't love Nightmare Alley more or less because I was at the Academy Museum watching it, and because they were going to come out, the cast afterwards, and have a Q&A. Or Tar last Thursday night. Same thing. I saw it at the Academy Museum. It didn't affect my overall grade. Obviously, I'd rather see it on a very nice screen with an incredible sound system. But if I had seen Tar at the Burbank 6, the Bunker Theater, then I probably would still love it just as much, because it doesn't matter that it was the first night or the night that Kate Blanchett is there and it's the LA premiere. None of that shit matters, guys. It just doesn't. If that's why you're in this, then you're in it for the wrong reasons. So I think you guys know that. You guys know that I really don't care about those things. It's really about the movie. And ultimately, when you watch it like a Banshees of Inisherin tonight, you just say it's just not a great film. The screenplay, again, like a Three Billboards, is not exceptional. In fact, if anything, it's the weakest part of the film, with not overall, there's some really nice moments again, but the choice that McDonough that decides to do with Gleason's character, I can't even fathom going there and then having it be any remotely believed by the audience. You guys, I wish you could see the film. We could really drill down on it, but it's so overrated. Banshees might be one of the most overrated films that I have seen in the past numerous years. Banshees 100%. No chance that is 100% Rotten Tomato movies. This is the problem. This is the problem we have. Banshees of Inisherin, or Inisherin, whichever. I've been to Inisherin, so I should be able to say it. I've been to it. You take a boat, so you go to Ireland, you go all the way over by, I believe it's Galway, right? Somewhere in that area. You get on a ferry and you go to island number 1, island number 2, and island number 3. I can't remember which one Inisherin is, but you go to each of the 3 islands. I've been there. This is not 100% film. There's no way this is 100% film. Like, you guys, come on, stop. But this is what we do now. This is what we do in film Twitter. This is what we do for critics. Critics are afraid to be the first one to come out and say Banshees of Inisherin does not work. It's overrated. It's a performance film, and I can't believe we're discussing it as a best picture. I have no problem doing that, because I know when you see it, you're going to say the same thing. You guys come back to me all the time telling me, you're right, Eric. You're right again. You're right. You're right. You're right. Because I know what I'm doing. And I really believe that there are a lot of critics who write for, guess who? other critics. They don't write for you. They write for other critics, and they write using their giant glossary of big words to make themselves seem learned, and they write reviews for their circle jerk cinephilic friends. They don't write reviews for you. They don't write reviews for the average person. And I say this, my best trait, you guys are like, well, I don't know what that is the ability to take the cinephile and merge it with the mainstream. It is a merging of the two worlds until we get to that film that gets everything there in the Venn diagram of cinephile and mainstream. And for me, those are rare films, but we do get those. And I would say that Tar is very close to that. That meshing of a film that's accessible, that is lights out fantastic, and has performance that we rarely get. I mean, we're talking once in a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades. This is a Cate Blanchett performance that we are not going to get another at this level anytime soon. And I think when you look at Top Gun Maverick, you're looking at a film that we're not going to get anytime soon like that again. That is a phenomenon. Don't expect another one anytime soon. You guys always ask me, when are we getting the next Top Gun Maverick? I'm like, well, it's not going to happen like next week or even in the next year. It's going to take time. I think that Black Panther 2 obviously has a very good chance to be a great film. You've got Ryan Coogler, who I consider to be one of the best up-and-coming directors. And at this point, is he really even up-and-coming? But go back to Fruitvale Station. That's all you need to watch. And forget the Marvel stuff. Ryan Coogler's a massive talent. Massive. Aaliyah. I just got to yours. Let's go to Milan. I feel that Fabelmans is going to be a marquee Oscar choice, an ode to Hollywood icon. I can't wait to see it. This is a film that I think Universal is very aware that they have a winner here. Okay. I think that the levels of the Fabelmans, from what I'm gauging and what I feel, is going to be good to great, somewhere in there. So anytime you're in that range, you are going to be successful during award season, because those are the films that at least have a universal like to them. Go back to last year in Belfast. Belfast is a film that had that universal like thing going for it, and it rode it a very long way during award season, right? So I think Fabelmans will be just like that. It's obviously a universal film, just like Belfast was. I know it's Focus, but guys, Focus is Universal, okay? So they are very aware of what they have. They're holding more press screenings for closer to the release date, so I have not seen Fabelmans. I can't wait. I want to see Fabelmans. I definitely want to see Babylon, and I want to see The Whale. Those are top three that I really want to see that I haven't seen yet. But I'm starting to get through these things now, and I'm just telling you, this award season is very disappointing. Very disappointing. When we're talking about Banshees of Inisherin as a best picture, best director, no, we're not. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to talk about it as a film that if it were someone other than McDonough, if it was just some up-and-coming person with 2 actors that nobody knew. Okay, I know I'm asking a lot. I'm changing the entire movie, but just instead of actors we knew, it was like a small indie film directed by somebody we didn't know and is the same script, we wouldn't be talking about Banshees of Inisherin. And that's what drives you crazy. It's kind of like, remember when I told you guys we were talking about Don't Worry, Darling, and if it were like from some other director that didn't have all the off-the-field shit that was going on right then for Olivia Wilde, we wouldn't have the same reviews. I feel very much the same way, same vein as we have here tonight with Banshee of Inisherin, which is a film that if it were for some other director who didn't have this vaunted pedigree and 3 Billboards, most overrated movie of the past decade, easy, then it's great. Don't ever do that. Don't ever walk into a movie, even if it's a director you love, okay? And I love, like, let's say Rose Glass, okay? So I love Rose Glass. I think that Saint Maud is pretty much perfection. It's close to a masterpiece as I've seen recently, other than Parasite. So when I look at Saint Maud, when I wait for her next film, the one that's going to have Kristen Stewart in it, I'm not going to go into that thinking, it's got to be good. I'm going to go in saying I'm looking forward to this because it's Rose Glass, but I'm still going to evaluate it on the fact, just singular, right? Only that film, not on Saint Maud. And I think there's so many people in this space that do it the other way around. They go, who's the director? Okay, then it's got to be good. No, why? Why does it have to be good? Why are we doing that? We should never do that. I don't care who you're talking about. Nolan, Villeneuve, you're talking about, name a director, Bong, whoever you want to throw out there that's working today, Fincher. You don't go into the movie and say, it's good because it's David Fincher. No. You expect it to be better than most because it's Fincher, but you still have to go in with a clean slate and say, this is the only thing I'm watching. It's not hard. It's not hard, guys. It's just not. Now that you didn't like Banshees, do you think this makes a lock for Brendan Fraser for The Whale? If we're talking about Best Actor right now, let's pull up Awards Ace again. Here we go. Let's go in and let's look at what I have. So I have Christian Bale. Christian Bale's not getting in. Okay, not for this. Maybe The Pale Blue Eye. We'll see what happens. I have him in there for that because it's Christian Bale. He's not getting in for Amsterdam. That movie's dead. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Give me a second. This movie's going to lose $100 million. 100 million. Oh my God. We'll talk about the ramifications of that. What does that mean for Hollywood? Austin Butler. You've got to put Austin Butler at the top of your list, or very near the top of your list. So Austin Butler's right up there, okay? Then you have Daniel Craig. Just for the hell of it, he could go supporting here, but listen, Glass Onion's going to be some. I mean, is he for sure? No. Tom Cruise, yes. Adam Driver, White Noise. I haven't seen White Noise yet. They have not been screening that very much, but that seems to be very muted. I've got Colin there for Banshees, and then I have Fraser, Whale. I think Jackman and Brad Pitt more than likely is going to go supporting. So right now, if you were to ask me who's going to win, I would absolutely put it between, and I haven't seen Jackman, but I heard he's very good in The Sun. So that's a movie I really want to see. Fraser, and then you have Butler. Those are my top two. Right now, I have not seen The Whale, so I cannot comment on which one I pick, but I can tell you this, Austin Butler deserves to be in the conversation to win, not just a nomination, to win. He's that good in Elvis. So that's my Best Actor slate. Anytime, by the way, if you guys want to go and check this out anytime, just go to Awards Ace. It's so easy, okay? I'm not just saying that because it's my website. It's the easiest, most functional award site out there because all you do is simply go to the category you want to look at and you just hit the button and boom, here's your Best Actress contenders. You've got about 10 or so Best Actress contenders. I mean, let's be honest. I just told you Cate Blanchett is winning this. It's a lock. She is winning for this. Everyone else is playing for second place or for just a nomination. But that's that simple. You just go through the categories. It's all there for you. Okay, let's get into category topic number 2 tonight, and then we'll get into your comments because I told you I'm fired up. Amsterdam is gonna lose $100 million. That is what the rumored number is according to Deadline. Let's go to their article right now. This thing is hugely viral. Everyone's talking about this film because what does this mean when a film loses $100 million for a studio? Okay, let's go to the article. While tentpoles resuscitated moviegoing this past summer with picks like Top Gun Maverick, it's true that more adult-skewing fare is having a much harder time now. Nowhere was this more true than with David O. Russell's Amsterdam, which rivals believed had a shot at opening to 12 to 15. That's the first laugh part of the article. Who thought this was opening at 12 to 15? Do I have to go work at a studio to smack these people around and tell them how to value films? I told you guys this film was not even going to get to 10. How am I sitting here on YouTube in Burbank telling you this film's going to be a bomb and these studio people thought it would get to 12 to 15? You guys are bad at your jobs. You're terrible at your jobs. Don't just resign tomorrow. It didn't happen. We knew it wouldn't happen. You guys watch MMT. We said it wasn't going to happen. 6.5 million. Okay, so listen, it's only got 10 million worldwide. So let's hear. So basically, we roll through this. We look at the numbers, and they go through blah, 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 blah. Bottom line is, when you look at this thing, it looks like right now it's going to lose around 100 million, 97 million to be exact. So here's the issue with that. Now, the big picture. Let's go big picture, and they talk about this in the article. Now comes the question. When you lose $100 million on an indie-leaning film, now I know it's not, at that budget, it's not an indie film, but you know what I'm saying, art house leaning. This is not like a mainstream Top Gun Maverick or big budgeted, even at this budget. It's not the kind of film that's going to pack the seats with young folk going, oh, can't wait to see Amsterdam. So you're already in trouble. And now you lose a ton of money. So this is the question. What happens to films that come up for studios down the road just like this? And I'll tell you what, Deadline, I can't believe we're even having to do this discussion with Amsterdam because we already had the situation this year and we talked about it on MMT. And you guys know, because you're an educated audience, what film I'm talking about. We are talking about The Northman. The Northman was a massive, massive money loser for Focus / Universal. They gave a budget of 70 to 90 million, somewhere in that range, right? To give to someone who made an indie film, okay, that is very inaccessible to most people. And when you watch The Northman, you watch what Eggers does with that film, it is almost, it's elevated A24. When you get a budget like that, you can't do that. We already talked about it. I don't want to go down that road anymore. You guys, it's bottom line. You can't bring a film in like The Northman with that budget and expect to ever get money again at that level. So The Northman is just like Amsterdam here. You have a movie that they financed at way too high a budget, and now the studio is getting burnt by the decision to give the director the money. In the Northman's case, Eggers. In this case, David O. Russell. Either way, neither film should have ever been given the budgets they were given to be made. They're very similar that way. Whoever greenlit both of those films at that budget needs to go. Okay? Again, I will do this job. I will go in and I will be the Jonah Hill from Moneyball of the studio system. Literally hire me for the day. I will walk into, in this case, into Fox / 20th Century / Disney, find out who greenlit this film. I will walk in like Jonah Hill in Moneyball, and I'll say, hey, listen, it's not working out. Unfortunately, the decision was made, and this is a massive money loser for us. So you just need to pack your things up, and security will walk you out. So I'm sorry, but but you are entrusted. Your job is to know that you don't give David O. Russell $80+ million to make a film like Amsterdam. You just look at the script for Amsterdam and you go, nope, that's a no. Who's attached? Don't care. Jesus? Nope, we're still not making it, because it's so bad that there's no way that the script for Amsterdam looked good. You've seen the film. If you haven't, please don't. There's no way that you could ever look at the script for Amsterdam and say, oh yeah, 80 million, here you go. You're David. I don't care if it's David O. Russell. I don't care if he's had hits in the past. Doesn't matter. Base it on just this script. We're not doing it. And same thing with Eggers, Northman. No, we're not doing it. You can't do these things. It's going to kill you. And it did kill them. They're in big, big trouble when they do these, when they make these kind of decisions. You're in big trouble. And these people need to pay a price. And I don't, my God, listen, please, I'm not advocating violence. Let's get this straight. I'm not saying, but okay, if your job at a studio is to say this movie needs to be made because I feel it's going to be a big moneymaker, and therefore we can greenlight this script for 80 million, then you know what? When that movie bombs the way that Amsterdam did, and I knew it would, we all knew, come on, man, it was dead from the start. With that, you have to pay a price, which means you lose your job. It's just the reality of it, guys. Okay, we can't be all touchy feely and kumbaya. We can't do that. It's Hollywood. Heads have to roll. Okay, so when you do that, someone's out of a job. Just the reality of it. So don't make decisions like this. You don't have to be in that kind of situation. Driz Sensei, welcome back. Northman's my favorite movie of the year. I'd love for that film to win some awards. I know a lot of you love The Northman. I love the technical aspects of The Northman. I think it's emotionally incredibly cold. I think that there's very little to attach yourself to. And I think that's Eggers' problem with filmmaking, is that he makes beautiful pieces of art, but emotionally they are opaque, and you can't get into them. So I think that's the problem with The Northman. And The Witch is different. Obviously, it's a pure horror film. But The Northman should have more of an emotional gravitas to a pull, an allure that brings you into the film, like a Braveheart, right? Let's just use that as an example because it's similar-ish, right? Obviously, it's a version of The Lion King, ultimately. But when you look at a revenge film, you're looking for that heart, right? And you don't have it. I don't know if it's Skarsgård's fault, if it's the director's fault, if it's just the overall screenplay, but there's just the emotional thrust of The Northman is missing. It's just not there. There's no heart. There's no soul. So if I'm talking to Robert Eggers, I'm like, listen, man, I don't know if you have it in you, but we need to see more humanity in your films. You're missing humanity in your films. That's my number one problem with The Northman. And I think you would agree, even though you love it, Dre Sensei. I think that's very fair. I think it's a very fair evaluation and criticism of Robert Eggers' work. It's a weak year as far as films this year. It's funny you say the Batman. Okay, so I actually was thinking about my top 10 films of the year, right? If I was to list my best picture favorites right now. So clearly number one is Top Gun Maverick and Tar. It'd be like a 1-2, very close for different reasons. They're not at all the same film. Obviously, you guys can probably figure that out by watching the Tar trailer. But it's very accessible for me. So I have it very high on my list, along with X, even though I understand X is not a best picture. I get it. I love X. And then you look at the Batman. I mean, the filmmaking, and I'm not just saying this because Matt Reeves recognized me the other night. I'm not saying, I swear to you, you guys know it was cool, but I'm not saying that I like the Batman. You guys know. Okay. So Matt Reeves and what he did with that film from a directorial standpoint is easily a very strong best director candidate. From a best picture standpoint, I have no problem putting it in there at all. I do have some issues with the script, obviously, and I think we've talked about that in the many months we've been doing MMT, so I don't want to go over it again. But why not? I mean, it's not like the Batman is something we can't discuss as a best picture. I'll tell you, I'll take the Batman all day, every day over Banshees of Inisherin. I mean, it's not even a contest. It'd be like, which one should be the best picture contender? The Batman. And I know I'm right on that. I'm 100% right. Wait till you see Banshees. By the way, Banshees is going to be universally disliked by people. They are not going to like that film. They're going to give it a low cinema score. And it's another film Twitter, real world disconnect. Welcome to everyday, right? Film Twitter. Film Twitter people, no, here they come for me. Film Twitter people need to get their heads out of their own asses half the time, right? They get so into their films because they're supposed to like them. Don't be that person. Don't do it. Like a film and have legitimate reasons. Do not join the hive mind thinking of something. So that's my huge point here. Brett, your fine features and mustache. Yes, thank you. I think of it more of a goatee. But thank you so much for. By the way, tonight's football kit is direct from Australia tonight. It's Western United. I wore this because it's the brightest football kit that I have. I had to ride my bike from my joint here in Burbank over to Disney. I think this is the first ever on lot bike ride on. So usually you pull up in a car and the guard says, hey, you're here. What are you here to see? And I say, I'm going to see Banshees. And then they say, can I see your ID? And they wave you in and you go park. I said, I'm so close to Disney. I'm going to ride my bike. So I rode my bike literally like a block and a half over to Disney, and I waited in line with all the cars. Go look on my Twitter page. You'll see it. It's like, this is the first time that anyone's ever been on a bike to enter the Disney lot. The guy was actually just like, here you go. He didn't even blink. He just looked at me like, okay, yeah. And I rode my bike right through the lot. It was fantastic. I wish I could do that for I'm going to do it to Warner Brothers next. That's because it's very close too. Universal's a little bit more of a haul. I got to go around through Toluca Lake. I don't think I'm going to do that. But yeah, the first ever bike on tonight. Hold on. I want to get to a quick Chris Gore. Thank you, Chris. I do need to do this. it is exciting. Over 30 people watching. Smash the like button, guys, please. That's not true. That's not true. I do not skip leg day, dude. Do you need me to post another one of my big jumps? I mean, come on, man. My legs aren't big, but at least they're hoppy. I have hoppy legs. Chris Gore, thank you. Please do this, guys. Come on, man. Let's get this thing monetized. I want to do more of these, and I'm not going to do them until you guys. No, I'm kidding. Of course, I'm already doing them. I thought the idea of 3 boards was brilliant. Execution deeply flawed. Jeff, gold star. Jeff, gold star for Jeff, because this is 100% accurate. I couldn't agree more with this. The idea, so many films that we have, the idea of the film is greater than the execution of the film. And 3 Billboards is 100% that. Other films that hit me with that. Let's come up with other films. What are some other films that the execution is worse than the idea? There's a ton of films like that. I would even say Triangle of Sadness I just came out of. Execution is not bad. The idea could have been better. There could have been some things that I would change about that film to make it just turn the knob a little this way or that way, and we end up with a better film. Those are the ones that are most frustrating. When you watch a film that you say, if only you would have done this, I would have really loved it. The problem with Banshees of Inisherin is there's no way to untwist the knob from what McDonough does. I mean, it is literally like once what Gleason does happens. The knob is ripped off. There's no way to bring the film back. And that's the problem with the film. Anyone who defends what happens with what he decides to do when Colin Farrell won't leave him alone is a terrible film critic. Oh no, here they come for me. They're coming, but it's true. It's so bad. Ken, I'm seeing Banshees Wednesday. Hoping to disagree because I want to love it. I wanted to love it too, Ken, but you're not. You're not going to love it. Hey, Giacomo. Wow, gold star for you. This is like great comment night. Whiplash is absolutely a Venn diagram film. That is, by the way, now trademarked here on MMT. A Venn diagram film is the film that perfectly meshes mainstream with cinephile so that we get that perfect film that hits right there. And Whiplash is one of those films. A+ to you, Giacomo. A+, because it's 100% that. Give me more of those films. We're calling the Venn diagram film. If anyone steals that, half the people on Twitter steal stuff that we talk about MMT. Don't do that. Don't be one of those people. Venn diagram film. Love it. Nick, I love Spielberg and Chazelle. Legitimately awarding the overall most impactful film of the year, it would be Top Gun Maverick. And I think that we're going to end up in that space, Nick. I do. I think that right now, I said Babylon. After I saw the trailer, I'm not so sure. Even though it's going to be a serious player based on topic, based on director. But I will say that if you are to award a film that did the most for the film industry and was the most overall satisfying for almost everybody who watched it, save Scott Mendelson, who watched an entirely different Top Gun Maverick, it is TGM. What other film gave you everything that you wanted out of a movie-going experience than Top Gun Maverick? None. Therefore, when we are deciding Best Picture, I think a lot of voters are going to do just that. They're going to look at the list of films. They're going to realize, like I've told you throughout the night, there's a lot of films here that are weak. They are not great. And they're going to end up coming back to Top Gun Maverick. So if and when Top Gun Maverick wins Best Picture at Oscars 2023 here in 5-ish months, you heard it here first. I mean, not that it's like going way out there, but I'm just saying, do not think that that will not happen. I'm telling you as a really good shot. Black Panther was one of the most racist, derivative, unoriginal movies of all time. Okay, great. Now we're okay. I should have listened. Now you guys can go after that in the comments. I have no comment whatsoever to this. Listen. I really like Black Panther, and I love Ryan Coogler. I'm not going to lie to you. So I can't. I don't know where to go with that. Go at it in the comments. I'll try to stay out of that. Nick, none of these awards films would have brought the over 80 crowd back to theaters, some for the first time in years, Power of Cinema. All of this is absolutely going for that. I did not like Everything Everywhere All at Once. Do you see it currently as a top 5? I think it absolutely is. I don't want to say that. I really have a problem even getting it out of my mouth. It goes back to, remember I told you I've got Jim Carrey, liar syndrome. I have a very hard time saying things I don't believe in. So when I say Everything Everywhere All at Once and Best Picture, I have to I have to stop myself because it doesn't want to come out. It makes me go, we're what? We're going to say that's a Best Picture? You're going to tell me Hot Dog Fingers and Googly Eyed Rocks and Black Bagels repeatedly and Ratatouille beating you over the head. Here is Everything Everywhere All at Once. The back end of Everything Everywhere All at Once, right? I love the movie. I'm like an hour and a half in. I'm like, oh my God. Then the back half of the movie, boom, boom, boom. It's just bludgeoning you. I mean, here, the Daniels are just like, wham, wham, wham. Here's more. And I'm like, okay, now I want to divorce this movie. I loved you, and now we're getting a divorce, and it's going to be so ugly. It's going to be the ugliest divorce you ever saw because you couldn't stop from banging me over the head with Hot Dog Fingers, Black Bagels, Ratatouille, and all that shit. Stop beating me over the head with it. There, that's the cutout for tomorrow. But it's true. Am I right? I am 100% right about Everything Everywhere All at Once, just like I am about everything else. Okay, most things. Scott, Donna Langley, head of Universal, confirmed they are financing the Tom Cruise space movie. 35 days on the ISS. First civilian to do a spacewalk. Let's just hope it's better than Gravity. You guys know how I feel. Gravity, another extremely overrated film. Like, oh my God, like so overrated. Brett, Babylon looks interesting, but I feel the cast is going to be underdeveloped. This trailer did not do much for me. Okay, I'm just telling you, I was shocked when I watched the Babylon trailer. I go, I don't know about this. Austin Butler wins Golden Globe musical comedy easily. Brendan Fraser wins drama, and then you've got, I mean, I think it's going to be almost impossible to beat Fraser. I haven't seen it, but just based on the story, right? Based on that, when you can build the tale of comeback, Hollywood loves a comeback. I think it's almost impossible. I think we're going to be looking at that 100 million. Oh, yeah. Gore's always like, you say million. Million? Stop. I'm an Ohio guy. Do I say million weird? Leave me alone, Gore. Amsterdam is the Ishtar of 2022. I canceled my reservation. Yikes. Simone, it's so bad. Did you see it? It's so awful. It's such a terrible. Yeah, now everyone's saying hi to Gore. I asked Gore to. Oh, wait, hold on. Gore's here. Wait a second. Hold on, guys. Gore, wait a second. Are you here? Hold on. Let me put on my headset. Hold on. All right. Here we go. Let's see if he's here. Chris Gore, are you there? No, my God.
I've been waiting in your lobby
no,
for
you
the last
haven't.
30 minutes.
Dude, first of all, what the hell's up with that picture? Can I just ask you that?
I'll change the picture.
No, yeah, just go. No, listen, I told Gore that I said, listen, are you going to come on here? Can you just jump on and talk about the thing? And there, thank you. That's better. And then I didn't even see you there. I've just been going on a rant here. So thank you for joining everybody. This is Chris Gore. Go like and subscribe to Film Threat channel. He's killing it over there. Thank you for joining us here tonight.
Thanks, man. I just told everyone at Film Threat to subscribe to your channel. You have 800 subs now.
Let's go. See,
you got a bump.
Good. Thank you, sir. I owe you a drink, but then again, at this point, I think I owe you like 20 drinks. So
yeah, exactly. Well, hey man. So
I'll get you a drink tomorrow night.
I love you were talking about this guy Ryan Coogler, this up and coming director.
Listen,
who was nominated for a freaking Oscar, dude.
Okay, listen, time out, Gore. But really, when you think, okay, before Black Panther, I mean, be honest with me? Did you watch Fruitvale Station or not?
Years ago. I thought it was very good, but it's just like one of those indie movies. It's just like it's very good.
No, I love it. I love Fruitvale.
Unfortunately, I think Black Panther was overrated, but what it did really well was the world building and Chadwick Boseman's performance. Same thing with Michael B. Jordan. So it had like a lot of really good things about it, but I never saw that as an Oscar contender.
Well, yeah, I think that I would agree that I didn't quite see it as an Oscar contender and certainly a winner in multiple categories. That said, I understand because remember, we're talking about narrative, right? So ultimately, a lot of the things that end up succeeding, it really is attaching it to a narrative. And when you we talk about Brendan Fraser and The Whale, that narrative of the comeback, I mean, is anyone going to be able to beat him? I mean, it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Cate Blanchett and Aaron Butler. I think those are the top contenders for acting.
You got Austin Butler. You have, we haven't seen. You haven't seen Fraser
Austin
yet.
Butler. What am I saying?
Yeah.
Austin.
No, it's fine. Trust me. So listen. You love Elvis, right?
Yeah, I thought it was amazing, and he just embodies Elvis. I thought he was so good. And Cate Blanchett, you and I were at the same screening of Tar. Mm-hmm. That one is like I can't think of who comes even close. And what I like about the role, just as an actress, your typical actress roles are like, I was abused, or it's like there's sort of typical things that like the type of roles that get awards recognition. This is a completely different type. Cate Blanchett is she's an asshole. I mean, she's a terrible person. I mean this she is. I mean, her character is, right? The character does terrible things.
Yes, but she pays for them.
Exactly. She pays. There's definitely accountability in there, but man, I just was like, and the running time is gonna bother people. Mm-hmm. I think, right? I think the running time will bother people a bit, but geez, and also it's gonna get way too hyped. So by the time that like it gets a broad release, it'll be so praised, people will be sick of hearing it. So
but Chris, let me say this, that I have seen a few more awards films than you this year, okay? Just a few, and I'm not saying that I'm better than you, but in some cases, in this case, yes. Is that Tar
only with your abs That's it.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I've seen
Listen,
more
but
indie movies than you've seen. I've
yeah,
seen a
that's
lot
true.
more.
Trust me. Yeah, in fact, I sat through the
That's my jam.
Terrifier 2 the other night. Okay, so but here's what I'll say about Tar is that
Okay.
I think it's the best awards film that I have seen this year. You wait until you see Banshees, Empire of Light, you saw Triangle of Sadness. I'm not nearly as high on that film as you are.
Right.
What's another? Oh, Armageddon Time. These films are all underwhelming. So when you watch a Tar, yes, it's a little long, but answer me this about Tar. Do you think it is largely accessible for the average moviegoer? Because I did.
I don't know. I think because Kate Blanchett and her history, I mean, she was in a Thor movie, right? Arguably, probably the best Thor movie with Ragnarok. But yeah, dude, I can't think of an awards film this year that's better than that. Like it
No,
is, there
that's
isn't
thank you.
one.
There isn't.
There isn't one. No, no, dude. I walked out of there. I want to see the movie again because I
Yep,
just
same
can't
here.
believe and also there's a lot of little details in it that pay off.
Oh god, yeah.
Um,
It's so
that
well
are just
directed,
so
right?
good.
I mean,
The
it's
ending,
not.
sorry.
It's direction. It's
Yes.
screenplay.
Yes.
It's I was saying this the other night. When you come out of Tar, I was half expecting because a lot of times you have these films like Go Back to a Judy, and you have a situation where you get Renee Zellweger, and she's very good in a very mediocre film. In this case, you have an exceptional, like once in a generation performance inside of a very good film. So that is what makes this. It's not a performance film only. This is a film that plays in multiple categories.
Yeah, no, it is. It's just like from direction,
Yep.
Todd Field,
Oh,
to the screenplay, to just the world, right? Like I don't look, I am a person who appreciates composers and music, and
mhm.
a lot of my favorite composers write, film scores. But
Yep.
getting a
Oh yeah.
glimpse into that world and like how competitive it is and cutthroat, and they're treated like rock stars, like it was just to be a part of her world. She goes in, this is early in the movie, she goes in to get a fitting for what she's going to wear as a
Mhm.
composer, and it's just the level of detail when you see like her place and how organized she is. I hate to say this, her shelves and just like everything, I'm like drooling over, like oh god, I would die to have like that much space to be able to
Doesn't it
store.
feel to your point? What you're saying is exactly what I saw in the film. It feels like when you watch Tar, you're watching a film that is fully realized, right? Like you said, the world building. You are immersed in this woman's world, and for 2 hours and 40 minutes, which seems really long, but for really good films, great films, I would argue in Tar, the runtime you don't feel as much because you're in the hands of an expert director, and then you get the screenplay and the world building. I was totally immersed in this film. Like I when it was over, I was just like, oh my god, this is a special piece of work.
But I mean, here's the problem: is we're going to sit here and overpraise it. People are going to see it; they're just going to go, "Ah, it was okay." So I hesitate to heap
Mm.
that on. And
Yeah, but I don't feel I have no problem over. I think this film deserves the praise. I do. And when you know how I feel when it's time to praise a film. It's time. Let's go.
right, right. But this has been one of the most lackluster years, not just for big blockbusters. There were so many disappointments, but like it's just been a lackluster year for that, and then also for awards films. I mean, there are some other movies I would put in the category. 13 Lives I think is great, but that's not, I don't know, is that going to be, it didn't get a theatrical release, or it got a limited one, right? It got limited theatrical. So I don't know. And then there's a lot of things that I saw in the theater where I'm like, that should have been a streaming movie. And then I saw things on streaming where I was like, why did that not get a big theatrical release? The theatrical business is broken. The last 2 years has really broken movie theaters. And I'm as big of a nerd on going to the theater every week as you are. Like I love to see a movie in a
Hell
theater.
yeah.
It's my church, but damn, like this year, I have real concerns about the industry. When you see the number one movie at the box office made $8 million, that's not a healthy industry. It's not a healthy.
But okay, but let me counter that by saying, look at a Smile. Smile is now sitting at 90 million worldwide, 50 million in the States. I know
Wait,
that you are not
how
nearly
many
as high on
million?
this film as I am. I am so much higher on Smile. But here's the thing. I know that the audiences are with me because it dropped 18% in its second weekend. That is unheard of. Like, that is a historical low as far as a drop. Like, you know this. Most films drop around 50% or higher. And when you end up at an 18% drop, you're talking about a Maverick situation for a horror film. So Paramount had nailed it. And this is a film, by the way, speaking of streaming, they almost sent Smile to streaming. They almost didn't put it in theaters, and it's sitting at $90 million worldwide.
Look, I think deleted scenes is right. So many movies this year were just meh. I mean, it's like meh. It's like, you know what it is? It's like a streaming film. They just be good enough to not suck. It doesn't mean they're great or good or even good. They're just basically, good enough to not be a film that sucks. And that
but then we're sitting here with the Top Gun Maverick, which I would argue is one of the best films we've received, the best Hollywood films we've received in the past 5 years or longer.
100%. It should get nominated for Best Picture.
Oh, yeah,
just for that
sure.
achievement. And also just the way that it was shot, and it's just sense of realism and just everything about that movie. But I think the Oscars, have you been keeping up with like what's been happening behind the scenes with the Oscars?
As far as the host or what?
Just as far as like the show. I
mean, they're obviously in trouble. You know that. I mean, they've got to get a film in there that people have seen. They needed to do it last year with No Way Home, and they didn't do it.
No one wants to host the thing.
Well, I wouldn't want to host it. Would you?
Like, no one.
Because it's a losing proposition.
No matter what you do,
that's correct.
Suddenly you become a target of people that are going to that are going to find something you said 10 years ago on social media.
Isn't that true?
A clip that resurfaces.
Yep.
It's awful. It's awful the way that the whole and the show itself. It's so they cannot update that show. They're so rooted in the celebrating past glories of movie. I mean, film fans like that, they just don't exist. We're becoming more and more of a rare breed, unfortunately.
Okay, here's a comment. I want to get your take on this, and I agree completely. You know how I feel about this, so and I think you're actually with me on this. Driz Sensei, Everything Everywhere All at Once goes on and on. It's way too long. Yes, completely was over it by the end. I have not in recent memory turned on a film the way that I turned on Everything Everywhere All at Once, where I went from, now I really, like I said, it was a love, let's get married, and now I want to divorce you, and I'm not going to give you a single thing in the divorce. It was such a turn, and I can't believe we're talking about it as a best picture. Like, it's very hard for me to even conceptualize how people think that this film is a best picture. I don't get it. I don't get it.
No, I don't get it either. I will say this. I think it's the better multiverse movie, better than Doctor Strange.
Well, come on. Anything's better than Doctor Strange. Good Lord.
Yeah. So it was better in terms of it. Just like the concept was fun. I thought that once they got into it, but then it's like when it steered clear of Michelle Yeoh's character, Evelyn, the movie was like, I don't need to know every side character's side quest.
Yep.
That movie at 90 minutes could in a perfect movie. So self-indulgent. It's like over 2 hours and needlessly 100%. Over 2 hours.
That's right.
It's very unfocused at the end. For me, it was a disappointment for something that started so well.
That's what I said. That's exactly it. I mean, it's a turn, right? You turn on the film. Simone, who was with us the night that we all saw it, Everything Everywhere All at Once is just damn stupid. Fight me. No, because we're on the right side of history here. I know we are. This is not a great film. It could have been. But like Chris says, like I've said, Simone, we all experienced the same thing. Paul, our friend Paul, we all saw the same film. Halfway through, you just want to, just destroy it because you get bashed over the head with the repetition of ideas.
Well, look, I also want to mention that you're now up to 810 subscribers.
Okay, here we go.
35 new subscribers in less than an hour.
Okay,
and I will say
let's go.
This. I want to get Erick monetized just so I can troll him with super chats. Because I want to go in the chat and give him like $1.99.
Thank you. I look forward to that.
and then you have to read the super chats. That's sort of a given.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing. I told. Now, listen. Tell me. This is what I like about this show. Okay, Midnight Movie Talk is great because it's very niche, right? We are what we talk about here is very industry specific. It's very, pigeonholed. We talk some big ideas, but in general, I like to talk about small things and ideas more than anything else. So I have no problem with it being kind of more niche, right? That's not a bad thing, is it?
It's fine to have like a focus, I think, for your channel. Like,
Yeah.
Our focus is we cover the mainstream stuff, but
Right.
we include like independent films and then also interviews with independent filmmakers.
Right.
So
Yeah. We don't do interviews here, except with you.
yeah. I mean, not yet. You might expand, whatever, but no, you've got a good, look, I like watching you, but I like more than anything putting in jokes in your
I know
chat.
you literally have to go through. I have to go through that. And by the way, thank you to everyone who has subscribed. I feel like I'm on a telethon right now. Please send in your pledges.
You gotta do. The thing is this: the YouTubers that succeed, you have to do a direct ask. You have to ask your audience, "Hey, subscribe to the channel, click the like button." You have to say those things, man.
Okay, I'll try. I just feel like we just do our thing and then the people will like it. Okay, fine. I'll be a little bit more asky.
Okay, but in the Film Threat Discord,
Yep.
Film Threat has a Discord.
Okay.
Somebody described you.
Oh God.
You look like if John Waters and Chris Cornell had a baby. That's what they say.
Oh my God, that's great. Yeah, my hair is a little bit poofy on top now. I kind of get in this, like, sometimes I like it shorter and longer. I feel like now I'm going to grow it out. I'm going to do like the Adam Driver thing. Not him doing the Ferrari roll, which he now looks like his Silver Fox. I kind of want to do the long hair thing. Eddie has a comment here, and then I know, Chris, you're going to go off to bed. I'm going to see, by the way, I'm going to see Gore tomorrow night. We're going to be up at a very, cool house in the Hollywood Hills. And I'm not just saying that because we want to make you guys feel jealous. Well, sort of. But we're so excited to go back, right, Chris? I mean, I can't wait to get back in that place.
Well, we'll talk about it. I'll probably talk about it on my live stream at Film.
Oh, are you? You're going to do you say the name of the place or what?
I'll get into it. Oppenheimer is going to crush it.
I know. You see this? I mean, likely. What's the release date on that? Is it a July movie? I want to say.
I don't know.
I feel like I should know all these things. If I had Scott Mendelson on, he'd be like, "Yes, it comes out July 21st." He is absolutely the Rain Man of when it comes to stats and things like that. Wait a second. Nick says YouTube takes half of the super chats cut. Are you kidding me?
If they take 30%, they take 30%.
30%. Okay. Well,
look, you can get Streamlabs. Like Erick's got to learn. He can barely do YouTube. he's just cutting his teeth right now. So.
I'm literally just. Thank you. I found Erick very John Waters. Thank you.
There you go.
Listen. Well, I mean, I don't know. There's worse things. I mean, obviously, I always get Robert Downey Jr., so that's like whatever at this point. I mean, there's worse things. A movie with a great idea, awful execution, 3,000 Years of Longing. Yes. Did you watch that movie? What a boring film.
Yeah, same here. Like, what was George Miller thinking? And the movie cost like 30 million, 60 million, some like crazy figure.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't cheap.
No, they gave him way too much. But it's another one of these movies. They just gave him way too much money. It just doesn't make any sense to do that. I mean, listen, I know we want to see these indie film people get their budgets in this, but you can't. When you get a budget like that, like The Northman, I don't know how you feel about the film. I'm going to find out right now. I tell you that Robert Eggers has to make a more accessible film at that budget. It's 70 million plus. You can't come back with The Northman, which is, again, emotionally void. It doesn't really play to the mainstream audience hardly at all. And then look what happened to it. So I would say that The Northman is just as big of a problem for Hollywood as what we're seeing with Amsterdam, because they're both the same thing, giving directors too much money for a movie that ended up being less accessible, or in this case with Amsterdam, a bad film. Oh my God.
Right. Yeah. Well, look, I think that this, maybe we thought that 2021 was the transition year. 2022 may end up being the more transition year than we thought. That Hollywood still hasn't found its sea legs. I think you still have audiences that feel burned, that a lot of movies, after a while you go to a restaurant and the food isn't good, you stop going to the restaurant.
Oh, 100%. I
kind of feel that way with movie theaters in Hollywood right now. Is like people are sort of like over, all the lecturing Hollywood wokeness. Like people are just sort of over that. I mean,
well, I know you're big on that. And I get it. Like
I mean, go back. We hear it all the time, and it's
I know.
Look, I've been used to, like, I see movies like that. A lot of indie movies can be like that, not specifically like science fiction, fantasy, or horror or comedies, but a lot of indie movies can. So I'm used to it. It's like, oh, I've seen those. Like, doesn't bug me that much. It's just maybe not for me. But this sort of, like, when you're taking like big mainstream Hollywood movies and including stuff that really is for a niche audience, that's a huge miscalculation. Huge miscalculation.
All right, let me go through before I let you roll.
Sure.
Because I don't want to keep you all night, and frankly, once I hit an hour, I start to get tired. Okay, so here I'm going to go through the films, and I'll tell you. I know I'm only going to go with the films that you think that you've seen. Okay, so I'm not going to ask you about things. Okay, so of the films that I'm going to list here in the key contenders for Best Picture, which one would you vote number one? Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Tar, or Top Gun Maverick? Those are the four you've seen. Which of those four films is your number one Best Picture?
Well, look, Top Gun Maverick, I think, is one of the most entertaining films of the year. It's the sequel we didn't know that we wanted, but Tar has so much more to talk about after. So I probably would put those kind of neck and neck.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
you didn't even hear. I 100% right. Tar
saying earlier,
yeah. Tar and
good. It's that good. And it's playing in more theaters. I think Simone saw it, actually. I know she's in the chat.
It was four. It was the Grove, and it was Century City, and then New York, 2 locations. This weekend it's going to expand to a few cities, but it's going to be. I like what Focus is doing, because this is not a film you want to open wide on 3,000 locations on first weekend.
Nope. This is the way they used to do it. Platform release.
Yep.
It comes out, it hits a couple theaters.
That's right.
A couple more. Then people
build the
hear
buzz.
about it. They can't see it. They build the buzz. And it used to be, we live in a time now where, like, movies it used to be the opposite. Movies would kind of roll out that way, really small. They'd make more money second, third weekend, build up. Now it's all front loaded first weekend, and then it dies.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just dies. Bros, what were your thoughts on Bros?
Well, I mean, I've talked about Bros before here. So Bros, to me, is a film that is they try. Listen, if you're going to make a film that, let's just be honest, if you're going to make a film that you want the mainstream audience to go see, and then when you watch Bros, you can see why a lot of people are going to be uncomfortable with the film. It's just the reality of it. I'm not saying I was. I mean, first of all, Gore, I wasn't. And you know how I wasn't? Where do I always drag you? But tell everybody, where do I always drag Chris Gore whenever we're over in Century City? I say, we need to go where?
He wants to go to West Hollywood.
Thank you.
And what at the gay bars? But
is West Hollywood not like literally the gay capital of the world, right? I mean, literally, if you were to name
the gayest location on Google.
So clearly I don't have a problem watching Bros. I'm saying from my, Columbus, Ohio location when I grew up as a kid, if you show that movie to someone from like red state America or whatever, just mainstream, every day, they're not going to enjoy Bros. They're going to have a real problem with so I think that it almost leans too hard, forgive me, into the gay of the film. I mean, let's just be straight up. It leans so hard into that it's going to be difficult for a lot of people to watch. And I think that was a miscalculation from a filmmaker perspective. I think and I know that they wanted to lean hard. Do you agree with that or not? That when you watch Bros, were you not a little surprised about how hard? We knew it was going to lean in, but I'm talking, this is full on. This isn't just the tip. Oh, God.
Eric, you said so many good clippable lines you need to have there.
Well, listen, but
it's
true.
It's
not just the tip.
It's too gay for a straight audience. It just is. I'm sorry. You know what? Too gay for a straight audience. Wasn't as funny. And then the gay audience, we've got a couple gay reviewers at Film Threat. They didn't specifically said they did not want to see it because they thought it leaned too heavily into stereotypes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
I can see that.
We tried to get someone gay to review the film and couldn't find someone who wanted to see it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a problem. I didn't know. There had to be that issue because it did so poorly. I mean, even the gay population didn't largely run out to see it. If they all came out to support it, it would have done better. It would have had to do
Well, I think
better.
it just shows that that's a niche market. This is a new thing where
Mm-hmm.
major studios are making niche market movies based on the false assumption that the audience is there, and the audience is not there. The audience is not there. Wasn't going to be, and the marketing for Bros was terrible. It had that awful line.
100%.
People either groaned, cringed, or like verbally just went, ugh.
Oh, yeah. When straight people had a good run, right? That line.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, that was not, that was not a smart line.
Well, Flaccid Phoenix says, wait, Alan isn't gay? Why didn't he review it? Shout out to Flaccid Phoenix in the chat.
Where is Alan? I thought Alan was here. Alan is. I love Alan. I love Alan.
He's great. He's great.
By the way, Ken Murray has Provincetown would like to battle your West Hollywood stance. That's fair. I mean, we know that's where the movie takes place, right? But I mean, listen.
Erick, can I just say real quick, Eric?
Yeah.
You're kind of like, in a cartoon character.
Yeah.
In like an old school cartoon. Like someone puts a hot pie on a window ledge, and then you see like a cartoon character, they kind of lift up and float with their nose following the scent of the pie. That's you whenever there's a gay bar around. It's like a cartoon version of Eric. Like he just sort of
there's something. Listen. There's something about the energy that I just love. I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, which is a very gay population. Okay, and you know what we did, because I always knew I wanted to get out of Columbus. So the reason that I would go to gay bars in Columbus because I wanted to hear electronic music. I wanted to hear house music, back in the day, progressive house, and listen to this stuff. And I became a DJ at raves and whatnot after that. If you didn't, I think I've told you that in the past. So I thank God for the gay bars in Columbus, Ohio. So I think there's always a piece of me that loves that energy. There's just such a great, like when we go, when you're outside like a Mickey's, we've been there. It's like there's so much just palpable energy coming out of the place.
Sure, yeah.
Whatever
you say, Eric.
Hey,
I admire your enthusiasm.
Listen, I'm just telling you, I enjoy. I have a good time. A cell phone, a bro should have been day or date or streaming. I agree. That probably would have been the right way to go. I mean, I don't know how the numbers would be any worse with it being day and date. Conversely, and I'll let you go with this. Here we go. So here's the last thing, and this is a great topic, and because this is good. I'm angry. So you ready for this, Gore? What the hell was Universal thinking by putting Halloween Ends out on Peacock day and date? Can you explain that to me?
That was incredibly stupid. I can't believe they did it. That was a huge mistake. Huge mistake to do that. I don't know. I feel like there aren't adults to say no to the people suggesting stupid ideas. When when you're in like a work situation and you always have that one or two people that they really want to be heard and they only have stupid, terrible ideas to contribute, but you don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't give a fuck about people's feelings in those situations.
No, you shouldn't. I say that all the time.
I'm perfectly happy to say that's not a productive idea. We're not going to do that. So
no, yes. And we need more of those people. We need more voices like that. We need people coming out of Banshees of Inisherin and saying this is going to be one of the most hellaciously overrated films of the year. No one else has the guts to do it, so fine, I'll do it. And you're going to agree with me. Just wait.
Yeah.
You agree with me on Amsterdam.
I did. Flaccid Phoenix. Chris is talking trash, but had his doc shown in Hillcrest. That's hilarious.
That is good. That's really great, I don't know who Flaccid Phoenix is. They're very funny.
Hillcrest is like I guess the gay area of San Diego. I didn't really know that. I mean, I think I've been there once. Like it's a good bar scene there, but like I didn't know that. I'm not like you with like the pie that's cooling on the Windows ledge. Someone needs to make a cartoon of Eric. It's like right outside of Mickey's in West Hollywood.
Oh my God.
Do like a little animated opening for MMT.
I gotta say, if I lived close to Mickey's, like I'm much further, I'm in the valley. If I lived like down the street, I would be at Mickey's probably like you in the 35er, that'd be me at Mickey's.
But 35 is like a blue collar, like, sports bar, but
Yeah.
dive bar.
Yep. Yep.
Like it's you just see crazy. I was there last night. I saw a woman that could not stand. She was eating popcorn. She was just like, she had like some injury on her hand. So she had her hand all wrapped up. I feel like I was in an episode of Cops.
That's that whole place.
I
That
love
whole
that.
place is always full of shady characters, including
I
you.
love that vibe. I want to go somewhere where I might get stabbed.
Hey, you just hang out anywhere in LA. Go down to Hollywood and go back to your car, park on the street, and then walk down the street.
Now it's like that. Geez, LA is just the worst now.
So listen, no, real quick. I'm going to tell you the story, and then I'll let you go. Speaking of,
Sure.
we might as well do it. So I was in LA, and I was going to see Tar, as you know, in that area right over there. I was on Olympic and like La Cienega. So it's a decent area, it should be a good area. It's tangential to Beverly Hills. So I go in. I'm going, of course, to 7-Eleven because I can't have enough Diet Mountain Dew. So I go in as I turn the corner, and I'm going in to get my drink. Of course, it's a refill. I say, okay, let's go get it. There's a guy walking at me that literally, no joke, I'm not kidding you. He gave me the eye as he's looking at me, and it was one of those situations where I had no choice but to walk past him. I thought I was going to get stabbed. Like, I'm not kidding you.
Ooh.
I really, for a moment, I thought my whole body kind of tensed up, ready for something to happen. And then when I walked into the 7-Eleven, so I turn in and I go in and I'm like, I'm going to film a drink. The guy looks at me weird, and I go, what's up? He goes, did you just encounter that guy who walked out? I go, yeah. And he goes, that dude was dangerous. And I'm like, I knew it. You could see it.
Like, dude, you can get, I'm seeing that you get it like a vibe. You get,
yes,
that's a real thing. Like, if you like something's gonna happen, you can get a vibe. I think we have that kind of sense.
That's your prep. You have to be in touch with that, and I definitely felt it. And it was just to have it validated by the guy at the clerk. But that's unfortunate because, and then we'll wrap the stream. But this is totally different. But this is what we do on a Midnight Movie Talk. It's really unfortunate because in the 4+ years I've been back here in Greater Los Angeles, this city has gone down immeasurably. I mean, there's not even any debate to have. Anyone who wants to say otherwise to that is lying. They are a liar, and I will call them that straight up to their face. The areas of this town that used to be considered, I don't know if we want to use safe, let's just say not run down with, there's homeless people all over the place. I feel terrible for the people, but it also brings the entire area down. It just brings everything, the entire Hollywood area is so much worse than it used to be. It's just, that's the reality of it.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty sad to see how far
it's incredibly sad
this city has fallen. Sucks, but look, I came from Detroit, so
yeah, I know. Listen, we'll figure it out. We managed to get around it, and I'll see you tomorrow night at the big fancy mansion up in the hills. I can't wait, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Gore tonight. Thank you for joining us, Chris.
Wait. Before I go, yep. You just gained 30 subscribers.
See,
in the last you should not get off the stream.
Don't do this to me.
All your stream.
Don't do this to me.
Race to 1,000 subs.
Yeah, don't
do it. Dude. I'm telling
you. By the way, Eddie, first of all, I think you're new to the channel. Eddie, I am the Diet Mountain Dew King. There is no question whatsoever that there is nobody on this planet who is more of a Diet Mountain Dew / Mountain Dew Zero freak than me. Nobody. I would take my absolute stance on loving that drink to a point where I would actually have it IV'd into my veins. That's how much I love Diet Mountain Dew.
Well, there you go, dude.
You got to have it. If you ever try it, Chris Gore, you're going to love it. It's like
I'm not a Diet.
No, I'm just letting you know. If you try it, I have now. Whenever I get a Diet Mountain Dew, especially at 7-Eleven, straight out of the fountain, I literally feel like a drug addict because I have a drink of it and I sit there and my eyes like dilate. And if you saw me there, be like, that guy's like on something. Yeah, I'm on Diet Mountain Dew.
Dude.
If they ever sponsor the show, then this will be the greatest success of my life. Just
look, dude, I want you to get monetized so you can stop bitching about not being and then I'm just going to troll you with like $2 chats, and then you can just use that to buy me beer.
Thank you. I'll do that. That's a great thing. Chris Gore, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Chris.
Later,
You're
man.
wonderful. I'll see you tomorrow. All right, guys. We're gonna go a couple questions and I'm out of here. That was a wonderful time. I'm so glad you guys are here. Welcome to MMT. For those of you who have never been to the channel, we do this show whenever we decide to. Always around 9:00 on the West Coast. That would be midnight on the East Coast. Hence the name Midnight Movie Talk. We'll be back here on Wednesday night for Halloween Ends. Gore's not even doing a stream for that because he's going to do his documentary. He can't go watch it. I'm going to the early screening of Halloween Ends on Wednesday night, and I will be back in time to run this show straight up live at 9:00 with a spoiler-free initial thoughts on the film. I'll tell you this as I go into Halloween Ends. I enjoyed Halloween Kills as an audience film. Sit back and laugh and have a good time with the absolute absurdities that happen in the film. Halloween 18, I like until we have the psychiatrist who is the murderous psychiatrist. That twist really took me completely out of the film. I hope that it has elements of both fused together and is a little more grounded in reality. I understand it's Michael Myers, but ultimately I always like my films to be really steeped in reality, even if I'm watching horror. And that's what I like about Smile. None of it feels, comical. None of it feels, satirical. It's just straight up malevolent. And I hope that we can get back there. And that's what I want to tell you guys on Wednesday when I watch Halloween Ends. We'll be live on Wednesday night at 9:00. Come and join us here. Like, subscribe. Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to bed. I can't do any long stream on Wednesday. Halloween Ends. Whatever you want to ask me, short of spoilers. I'll see you then. Until then, Midnight Movie Talk is out from the West Coast. I'll see you Wednesday. Good night.